All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. We had kind of a slow day today after yesterday's very explosive price action, which is a little bit to be expected. Bitcoin is just consolidating here in a range, but this is actually pretty bullish for Bitcoin. So yesterday, Bitcoin was able to break back into the value area of our all-time high range. Let's zoom out onto the 4-hour. This prior range that we were in for a few months up here, I call this the all-time high range. Bitcoin was in this range for a few months here, and we were able to consolidate within this range for a few months before losing it and trying to establish a new fair value for Bitcoin in a lower range. Now that we have re-entered back within this range here, Bitcoin is holding and consolidating above the value area low of this range, which is showing some sign of strength for Bitcoin. Let me go ahead and clean up these charts here just a second. So one of the things that I would like to talk about here with Bitcoin, we are holding above that value area low. And you can see even today, we came back down to bullishly backtest that value area low. We did see a little bit of a deviation below it, but overall we are holding and ranging above the value area low, showing that Bitcoin really is trying to find re-acceptance back within our previous range and continue up to higher levels on this relief rally to the upside. Now, is this just a relief rally, or is it going to continue to new all-time highs? That is yet to be said. Our real test is going to be when we get to about this 97K area to determine what happens when we get to this area here. But right now, Bitcoin's looking strong. We are seeing a lot of warning signals for a pullback, though, guys. I do want to warn about this. So you can see here on the 15-minute chart, yes, we're making higher highs through all this price action, and now we're starting to range flat in a sideways flat range here. But our money flow has been leaving the asset pretty strongly here, now even crossed over into the red on the 15-minute. And you can also see here, we do have those multiple drives of bear div on the 15-minute. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high. 4 higher highs in the price action and 4 lower lows in the momentum waves, showing multiple drives of bear div on the 15-minute. Now, we were looking for multiple drives of bear div, and really what we were looking for too is the money flow to finally start topping out and declining to the downside. So now we are seeing those multiple drives of bear div with declining money flow, showing that a bigger pullback could be due here. If we start to lose this value area low, I do think we could get a bigger pullback back down. If we zoom out onto the hourly chart, you can see here, hourly, we are seeing these kind of weird, funky bear divs here with higher highs in the price action and lower highs in this one momentum wave that kind of has individual humps within the one momentum wave. But our money flow just recently now started curving up again. And if the lower time frames can start to bottom out on the money flow and start to get back into the green, we could see that pump up to 97K before losing 93K. I do think this is a pretty decent probability. The way Bitcoin is consolidating here is decently strong, I would say. It's looking decently strong. Now, if we go on to the 4-hour chart, you can see our 4-hour money flow is still looking pretty healthy here, still looking like it wants to come to the upside. This new indicator that I'm looking at down below is called NAMI, and it's a really good indicator. It does show you bull divs, hidden bear divs, all that stuff, and the money flow indicator is pretty quick on this one as well. So you can see on the 4-hour on NAMI, the money flow is starting to curve to the downside a little bit, and it does tend to react a little bit faster than Market Cypher's money flow. I'm still in the phase of testing this out, but it does seem to give pretty good signals so far, and so we will be looking at both of these from now on to see how they react. Okay, 2-hour is, yeah, it's looking pretty good here, guys. It's looking like as long as Bitcoin can hold above 93K, we do have a strong possibility to move up to 97K to see really what happens at our real test of resistance. As far as the lower time frames, let's go ahead and zoom in onto the 5-minute time frame, and let's just analyze this range that we've seen throughout the day today. You can see that Bitcoin is just ranging in the sideways range. So what do? We can pull a volume profile and we can just analyze the volume of this range, and we can trade the range until it breaks. So obviously looking for shorts near the highs of the range, looking for longs near the lows of the range. Earlier today, I only took one trade today. I took a long on the bullish backtest. After we lost the value area low, we reclaimed it, bullishly backtested it, and on this bullish backtest, I did take a long here. I did take some profit at the value area high, which was also our golden pocket. So if we look at that move down that we saw today, that one little aggressive move down, and you pull your golden pocket, you can see, well, your golden pocket was in confluence with that value area high. The value area high was a little bit lower earlier today, and that's where I did take some profit on that trade. And yeah, and so Bitcoin is just still ranging here, and actually it does look like we're forming this consolidation triangle right now on really low time frames here. Kind of have something like this going on, and Bitcoin is just cooling off from yesterday's massive pump. So the question is are we going to see that bigger pullback down to some lower support levels, or are we going to hold 93K and come up to 97K first? Well, let's go ahead and dive into some of those support levels that I didn't really cover too much yesterday in the video. I was just trying to go over more of the macro price action that was happening. So if we zoom out onto the hourly chart, and let's go ahead and look at our last big hourly push up. So from our last hourly lows up to our highs that we made today. And also today, before I get into that, I do want to talk about, we did have a good short opportunity this morning with the swing failure pattern of yesterday's highs. We were seeing multiple drives of bear div coming up into that swing failure pattern. This would have been an acceptable scalp to at least take down to 93K. So if you caught that, good for you. I would still be holding that SFP if you did catch that, because there is a possibility we could break lower. But that and the back test of the value area low were really the only things that I saw today as far as trades go. Okay, and let's get back to looking at some support levels. So if we take a Fibonacci pull, a retrace from our lows, our last hourly lows to our highs that we made today, you can see that golden pocket is coming in about 89K, where our previous value area high of our range that we broke out of. So let's zoom out to the 4 hour. We're going to look at this intermediate range here, and you can see that value area high of that range. The golden pocket is just a bit above it, but that general area is the area, just like I described in yesterday's video, is the area I would be looking for a potential area of support. And actually, let's pull this volume profile down to this guy here, okay? And then let's pull it to our 83K lows, and let's look at this here. Yeah, I mean, I would say, you know, in a corrective move, the 0.5 is a common target for finding support in a corrective move. And if we pull it actually from our 83K range lows of last week's range up to our highs today, that 0.5 is around that value area high that we broke out of yesterday, the range that we've been in for 6 weeks or so yesterday. So oftentimes when you break a range like this, if you break into another range and hold price action within that range, you have a strong possibility of continuing the move up. If you start to lose the value area low of your previous range, which is at 93K, and I'm talking about this all-time high range up here, if we start to lose that value area low of that range, there is a possibility you could flush down to backtest what used to be resistance, you know, resistance all in here, what used to be resistance now as support. So there is a possibility if we lose 93K, we could come down to about 88.8 to 89K, 88,600 in this general area. We could backtest this area right here and then continue the push up to 97K if it holds. And one last thing we want to look at here is let's do our Fibonacci pull from the lows of the range to the highs, and let's turn on that 382, because we know that 382 often acts as strong support in a strong uptrend or strong resistance in a strong downtrend. So that this level is also a really nice level for me, this 87K area, because you can see our previous highs were right about in this area. And if we take our smaller golden pocket, from the 83 lows to the highs that we made today, we turn on that golden pocket, you can see that golden pocket is right about in that area as well. So a couple local support levels to be watching. That is where I'd really be interested in looking for Bitcoin to form another higher low to continue this push to the upside to 97K. We're going to have to see how this plays out. So far, Bitcoin is seeing strength and is not wanting to lose our previous range value area low. Okay, and then let's go ahead and zoom out to the daily chart, and we can look at, yeah, the only daily level that we have really is still, let's make sure this is marked out. Let's turn on our dailies. Okay, yep, 83,600 is a daily level, and you can see we do have a naked daily point of control there, and our anchored VWAP from the lows is right around this area. So I would say this is now becoming a more major support level. We also have the point of control of our previous range right next to that. So let's go ahead and mark this out as a box. And you guys, if I ever make a box of support or a box of resistance, that's the real strong areas that I'm really looking for some strong reactions from. Doesn't always work. As you saw yesterday, some of the boxes that we had got just busted straight through. But for the most part, they do tend to end up working. So this is going to be a daily level. Naked DPC. Okay, and AVWAP. All right, and then let me go ahead, mark this. All right. And so, yeah, that would be our first major level of support where I would definitely expect some sort of reaction if Bitcoin is going to make a higher low to continue to bounce. And then, of course, we still do have our other support boxes down below. Now, those are going to be changed just a little bit now. Like this support box down here, obviously, there's not a 0.5 down there anymore. I mean, there is, if you look at, if we just do the Fibonacci pull from the lows to the highs before the breakout, and we look at that 0.5, it is still in that area, and it's also the value area low, but the anchored VWAP is definitely higher now, so we need to go ahead and change that here. And let me just pull this guy all the way up here, and let's look at our 786. Okay, 786. So this box is still going to be a very, very important box here. Down at 79 to 78K. So we have our golden pocket from this first the lows to the first pump, the highs before yesterday's pump, and then we also are going to add our macro 786 to that area now, and we do have a weekly down there as well. Let's go ahead and put okay, and I do still think this box is important too, just because it's volume levels of support. So naked weekly, naked daily point of control, and the 786 of our smaller fib pull. I do think that's still going to be of some value. And those are the major areas. Now, if Bitcoin's only going to pull back locally, because right now Bitcoin is still looking strong. Actually, while we're here on the daily, let's look at this. So our momentum wave is starting to look a little bit toppy here, showing that we could get a bit of a cool off before. Now, that doesn't mean Bitcoin can't continue up to 97K, but if Bitcoin continues straight up to 97K, I do think it will absolutely be due for a cool off. But overall, money flow, we know, overpowers the momentum waves, and money flow is just crossing up into the green here on the daily chart. We were seeing those multiple drives of bear div at major support levels, and even if you look at NAMI, money flow on the daily is looking very strong on NAMI here. And so I do think that Bitcoin, there's a possibility that Bitcoin holds these 93K lows, range lows, previous range lows, and continues up to this general area up here. Okay, let's now delete this daily because this daily's been hit. And let's delete this guy here. Zoom back in onto the hourly chart, and let's go ahead and just mark out our new naked daily point of control, if we have a naked daily point of control. Okay. No, not really, but we have yesterday's naked daily point of control, and this is going to be important where this naked daily point of control is coming in. So let me see if this is marked out. Okay, let's mark that out. Looks like it's coming in right around 90,800. Here we go, naked daily. All right, and why I want to talk about this level as well, because first of all, volume level of support, so it's a strong level of support, but you can see our anchored VWAP from the all-time highs is coming in right around this area, as well as our previous, we have this order block in here, this 1 hour order block that's right in here. And anytime you see an order block like this followed with a volume spike candle, an imbalance candle to the upside, that is going to be an important order block to watch. So I would say this general area between 90.6 and 90.5 is going to be a very good area where we could find some local support on a bounce as well. I'm actually going to mark that one out with a box because it is that strong. Okay, that is a level of support as well, local level of support. Now, we have to be careful because if Bitcoin does start losing 93K, we do have a lot of liquidity down below us, and some of these local levels might not hold. We did pump up pretty quickly, so when you see a fast move up, that could mean fast move down. Sort of liquidation cascade that does occur with some of these fast moves down if we have a lot of trapped long traders above 93K. Let's go ahead and look at our liquidation heat map. So this is the 1 week liquidation heat map, just looking at the last week of price action. And you can see that we really have wiped out all that liquidity that was acting as a magnet above us. Now down below us, we have two very strong levels of liquidity, some liquidity pools that will be acting as magnets to bring Bitcoin back down if Bitcoin is going to lose 93K. So first level is about 85K when we would take out all that liquidity. And that is going to be quite a bit lower. I mean, that's really coming into our first box of support in this area here. And then our second level of liquidity is down below those range lows, 83K. And these range lows down here, remember, we were looking all last week to come down to grab those range lows, to grab the liquidity that was building below these lows, all that liquidity from a week-long range before seeing this big push to the upside. We did not get that. So there is a lot of liquidity from all the people that were longing this range last week, plus all the people that longed this pump yesterday. We have a lot of liquidity sitting underneath 83K that if we do start to lose it, and you can also see because this was such a fast move up, we could get a fast move down, and grabbing that liquidity into the bullish backtest of our descending channel that we broke out of could be something that could be seen in a more intense scenario, I would say. We just need to be aware of that as a potential possibility because we do have some bear divs on the chart. Okay, and let's look at our CVD here. Let's go into the CVD. You can see today, not too much was happening, just this small range here, but our open interest has been decreasing pretty steadily all day long. And what that tells me is that there are a lot of people that are starting to close out their positions, their long positions. And we did have some late longers earlier in the day. So if we look just in this area, like it was kind of last night for me, you saw all the CVD is going up, meaning these are market longers. Open interest was increasing, meaning it's new positions, new money entering the market. That money was long positions. They were entering near the highs of the range, near the highs of the pump, which is never a good thing to do. And you can see when we got that small push down today, we did liquidate some of those people, showing that big decrease in open interest here, causing forced sells and causing the CVD to kind of go down pretty aggressively with those trapped traders that were getting either stopped out or liquidated. Now, since then, our open interest is still on a steady decline overall, and we're just consolidating here. You can see there is just a lot of positions are starting to close out. You know, longs are probably happy with the profits they're making. They're probably starting to take a little bit of profits off their long positions. And some of the shorters are shorting, and unfortunately the price is not going down. Earlier today, we were building some bullish CVD absorption, and that's part of the reason why I did long this back test here is we were seeing some bullish CVD absorption. You can see lower lows in the CVD, higher lows in the price action here. Now, it wasn't absorption because our open interest wasn't increasing, but it was still bullish CVD divs that we were seeing. And in some ways, we are still making some bullish CVD divs, but it's not the greatest. You know, CVD looks kind of flat here overall. I mean, it's down a little bit technically. But so is our open interest. So it's definitely not bullish absorption we're seeing here, just a little bit of bullish CVD divs, which tells me that with the bullish CVD divs against your market cipher B 15-minute bear divs, we might just continue to range for a bit. We might continue to range. And I would even say it would be acceptable in this range to not even to start ranging in between, you know, 90.8K and this 94K area, 95K area. One of the things that we were looking for earlier today that didn't quite happen was we do have a internal high of the Trump tweet weekend at about 95K. So this SFP up here at 95,128 on Coinbase. And one of the levels I was looking for to take a possible scalp short on is if we came up, grabbed out the liquidity above those 95K highs, and then see a confirmed candle close below that 95,128 level, I would be looking for a short at least down to 93K. So this trade is still in play, by the way. If we do start to continue to range in this little micro range that we're starting to form here, but we see one little push up, grab that liquidity, and then come to the bottom of the range again, that could absolutely happen. So that's still a trade I'm still interested in as far as resistances above us. So we can cover some of those resistances above us. I did cover a lot of them yesterday, and nothing has changed since yesterday's liquidity above us. Let me clean this chart up just a second here. Let's turn off some of these levels. And okay. So one of the things that I am looking at, of course, first and foremost, is 96.2 to 97K, 97.5. This is our main area of resistance. I covered it yesterday. We have naked weekly point of controls in there, naked monthly point of controls, our macro golden pocket, our previous range point of control. There's a lot in here. And also our one-to-one ABC correction target. If this is going to be an A, B, C, where we top out in our C wave here, and then see a bigger dump to the downside, that is the area where you would expect to see that playing out. And it could go all the way up to our 1.236, where you can see we do have those internal liquidity highs right before our big impulse down. And remember, we've analyzed this as a key shift in market structure. So the liquidity above those highs is going to be pretty important. And we could pump all the way up to that area as well. But yes, pretty much same resistances yesterday. Now that we are above this anchored VWAP, though, from the all-time high, we can be looking for Bitcoin to continue strength as long as it's above this area. If it does start to break down below our anchored VWAP, we could expect those bigger retraces to come in, and maybe even coming down to grab the liquidity below 83K. We're going to have to see how that plays out, because we also have our anchored VWAP from the lows now coming in right around that area. So it would be a huge liquidity grab into our area of support, into our volume level of support from the lows, and see that continuation to the upside. Now, if that is the case, we are really going to be looking probably at this ABC being corrected and seeing a bigger retrace down. There is another bullish possibility. So we could be seeing this as not an ABC here, but as an impulsive structure. So, you know, 1, 2, we had a flat or a triangle, and 2, 3 happened today. We could get a retrace over the next few days, and a 4, and then a 5 up to 97K, or even up to 103K, and then see a bigger correction to the downside after that. We just don't have enough data to let us know that yet, but it is looking like this range is starting to form, and this is what you want to wait for. Yesterday in the Discord, many times I said, guys, when Bitcoin is acting like a rocket like this, do not try to catch the rocket, you know, short the rocket, catch the moves. Just wait for a range to form. If you're not already in from lower, you kind of have to wait for a range to long, or, you know, wait for some sort of pullback to long. Or if you're trying to short, you have to wait for this to cool off a bit, start to range, and start to show us some sign of exhaustion on the pump to start looking for short positions. So that's kind of what's happening now. This was somewhat expected here. Bitcoin's looking pretty strong overall, guys, and I would say the move up to 97K is probable. Okay, that is about it for Bitcoin. Now let's go into Ethereum. Ethereum is looking pretty good. Now, guys, we finally broke above that purple box. Not much of a reaction at all, which I'm pretty surprised about here. You know, it was a really strong support resistance flip area, and we did have that golden pocket in that area, but we continued up to our major box of resistance. And this box was the box I was saying that is the real big one that we need to be paying attention to. And you can see we just barely pierced into it. So Bitcoin is holding what used to be resistance now as support. You can see it's forming a range between these two major zones of levels on the chart, and we are just ranging as well. As long as Ethereum, did I say Bitcoin there? I meant Ethereum. As long as Ethereum can continue to range just like Bitcoin like this, the key area is to hold above 1754, that support resistance flip area, because you can see we're now back above what used to be support, could have been acting as resistance. Now we're flipped back above it. So as long as we can hold this 1754 area as support, we could continue to work our way up to much bigger levels of resistance above. Money flow looks pretty strong here on the 1 hour chart, moving to the upside again. And if we look at, let's go into our 4 hour chart here. 4 hour, it is no bear divs yet on the chart, which is a good thing to see. And money flow is looking pretty healthy still, I would say. NAMI money flow is looking very nice, pointing to the upside here, showing that this range at the very least could continue for a bit before expecting continuation to the upside. Let's go on to the daily chart. Daily chart, okay, so unlike Bitcoin, we were not really seeing any bull divs down here. You know, we were making lower lows on the momentum waves. But one thing we did see, NAMI confirmed, is we were seeing some bull divs down at the bottom here, and money flow is crossing into the green here on the NAMI indicator here, showing that we could get this continuation of a pump. Now, momentum waves are starting to look a bit overextended here. We could see that pullback. If we start to lose 1750, I do expect a bigger pullback back down. But right now, it's looking pretty strong. And let's see. Okay, we've got our daily levels marked out. Let me go ahead and turn those off so we can clean up the chart. Let's go check our new naked daily point of control. Okay, we have that marked out already. Yeah, okay. Let me make sure that's right on. All right. So what I would say for Ethereum now, we can go ahead and get rid of this box. We're just going to leave that support resistance flip line there, though. And for now, let's see. This was it was a naked weekly point of control and our previous range value area low. So we are breaking above it and we're holding our previous range value area low now as support, showing that maybe Ethereum wants to trade back within the fair value of this previous range that we were in. So what can we expect? We can expect a move. If the value area low of this range holds, we can expect to move up to the point of control at 1881-ish, near the highs of this resistance box. If we break that, we can expect to move really, I would say, even past our value area high just a bit to grab the liquidity that's up there into our purple box of resistance. That is going to be between 1977 and 2010. Now, for supports to the downside, let's go ahead and look at some of these supports to the downside. We can do our Fibonacci pull. Let's look at some very local supports here. Oh my gosh. Okay, from low to high, and let's look at that golden pocket. Okay, golden pocket is coming in around your point of control of your major range. So this range is the range that goes back 4 years. And I would say that range is the most important range on the chart here. So knowing that the point of control, remember we were holding it all last week as support in this general area. It is now pushed up just a bit higher because it was in this general area here. in confluence with this smaller range. Let me go ahead and get rid of this smaller range for just now because it is no longer necessary. And I would say you can see our previous highs are in this general area. Actually, the naked daily point of control is around our previous highs. So that could be an area of support. But I would say, and we do have an order block in there, I believe. Yeah, I would say this little area down here could be nice. This 1698 area, 1700-ish area. But if we lose that, I would say this general area of support down here, because by the time we get down there, our anchored VWAP is going to be up closer to this point of control, and the golden pocket is just above that. So 1652 down to like 1634. Let's throw that on the chart. I know that anchored VWAP is not in perfect confluence with it right now, but it will rise up as time goes, and it's not like we're going to flush straight down in hours. Where is that? Okay, and let's look at some more micro price action. If we zoom in onto the 15-minute chart, you can see this range that is forming in here. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this purple box now. Overall, holding the VWAP all day very nicely, but you can see, just like with Bitcoin, we're seeing a lot of signs of a cool off here. Higher highs through all this price action here. Lower highs in the momentum waves, money flow finally crossing into the red here, showing that we could, if we do not hold 1750, we could roll over and really start to come down. I would be expecting probably a bigger move down to our first major box of support. Let's look at the 5-minute chart. Okay, 5-minute money flow is topping out, and it actually does look like we're forming a little nice ascending channel here in this last little bit. Actually, you could even pull this up to that area and look at that little channel. Not the nicest. Okay, so if we're looking at just trading this micro trend that we're in, we could be looking, let's pull our volume profile and let's just measure this range. Okay, yeah, value area high. We keep rejecting the value area high throughout the day. You can see that multiple times coming up to the value area high, but also we're holding the value area low of the range. So trade the range until it breaks. So if we're coming down into the value area low, let's look at our local golden pocket from today's lows to the intraday highs there. Golden pocket's just above that value area low, but what I would actually like to see is the 786, because if we come down to that 786, we would grab the local liquidity from that second pivot of the channel. And so, and it's near our value area low where we could see that little push down, a fake out of the value area low, reclaim it right away, come back up. So I would say this is a scalp level to be looking at. Now, I would only be taking that is if we're seeing some bull divs on the way down, forming some bull divs on the chart on the way down. You would look for that scalp to take to the top of the range. And I'm still looking at this box of resistance above. I mean, I would be looking at coming into that point of control near 1881 up there, where we do have, you know, we could grab all the liquidity from the top of this range, see one more little push up here, start to form another drive of bear div on some higher time frames, and see that bigger pullback from that area. Okay, but overall, Ethereum's looking pretty strong as well. Let's go ahead and hide this guy here, and hide this guy here. Now, I would say Ethereum is really going to start looking much, much more bullish if we can take out these highs around 2100. If we can take out these highs at 2100, then Ethereum will really starting to be forming that bottom range. But once again, guys, we saw such an aggressive downtrend on Ethereum here. Usually you do not see a V-shaped recovery like this right away. Usually what you see is a bit of a larger time frame range starting to form. Getting some accumulation from the big guys in this area, and then you'll see that real move up. So I am still expecting a bit of some rangy price action on Ethereum, but the thing is we might need to extend that range all the way up from like 2,000 to 1,500, 2,000 to 1,500, 2,000 to 1,500. We'll just have to see as the data develops here. You can see our anchored VWAP from the all-time, not even from the all-time highs, from the cycle highs are way higher up. Bitcoin's already above this area. Ethereum's got a lot of catching up to do. Okay, so that is it for Ethereum. Let's now dive into Solana. Solana is looking strong, guys. I mean, Solana is just, you know, we flipped back above. Well, we broke out of the pitchfork. Okay, so this pitchfork, let me show you guys. This was an inside pitchfork from one of our last major pushes to the upside down to our range lows down there. And we've been trading very, very nicely in this pitchfork, hitting into a macro support level being the bottom band of the pitchfork in confluence with that monthly. We were able to, you know, we were finding last week, we were finding resistance at the top of the pitchfork band. Well, we came down, back tested that value area low of our year-long range since March 2024 highs, and we were able to push back up, getting above our point of control, even breaking out of the pitchfork, not seeing a liquidity grab of the highs, but continuing here, and we are just starting to range. So what I would be looking for here on Solana, because Solana does look pretty strong. Very, very locally, you can see I have this marked out very locally because I was looking at trading Solana today. If Solana comes down to that 145.8 to about 146.4 area, that is going to be the bullish backtest of the breakout of this pitchfork in confluence with the point of control is very close by. So the point of control that we flipped to the upside, and we have a very local 786 there. So let me zoom in onto the hourly chart. And if we look at this 786 fib pole, this 786 is from our last hourly lows to our highs that we made earlier today. We see this, no, sorry, that is the 382. 382 fib pole from our hourly lows to our highs. You can see the 382 is coming in right around that area. Now that 382 acts as support in a strong trend. Well, this has been a pretty strong trend on Solana for the last week or so. Solana's been trending very nicely. Now, if we zoom in and we look at this local 786, you can see what happened on the hourly chart yesterday. We broke above the point of control, back tested the point of control, flipped it to support on the hourly on lower time frames, and then we continued to break out of the pitchfork. So those key lows on that back test, that bullish back test of the point of control, we can look at a fib retracement from there. If Bitcoin is going to, not Bitcoin, if Solana is going to continue in this bullish trend, we can look for this Fibonacci retrace levels with confluence. And so I would say the general area to be looking, and you can see the prior highs were also right around there, is this general area of support here. Could be a very nice level where if Solana does come down, backtest this area, bullishly backtest this area, and holds this area, we can expect that move up to 161.8 where the anchored VWAP is. We do have a few levels up there. Let's see this box here. We had it was an anchored VWAP, a 786, and I believe there was a naked daily point of control in there. Let's go on to the daily chart. Okay, yeah, we do have a naked daily point of control up in there. It's just not going to show on the PVP indicator because it doesn't go back that far, but I've already had it marked out. So that general area, and you can see it, that's also the midline of the pitchfork. So the midline of the pitchfork, the naked daily point of control, 786. I do think that area at 161.8 is our next major resistance area, our next major confluence of resistance there. So I'd be looking at that general area. If we can hold 145.8-ish down to even, I would say, 144, that area is going to be our general area where we're going to want to look for Solana to hold to continue up to 161.8. So let's go ahead and mark this out here. So POC. Okay, and then if we lose this level, if we lose this point of control around 144, we can't expect that bigger push down. And what I would be saying, if we're going to see that bigger push down, we can look at a couple things. So we can pull our Fibonacci. Let me zoom in on this bit so we can see this better. Remember when we bullishly retested that value area low and flipped the value area low to support. So that bullish retest right there, that low is a key low. So let's go ahead and look at the Fibonacci pull there, and let's turn on our golden pocket. Okay, golden pocket is nice, but I do like the 786 actually a little bit better. And the reason why I like the 786 a little bit better is because we would grab this liquidity. Yes, that liquidity is pretty much right next to the golden pocket, but it's a bit below it. But also our pitchfork band that was acting as resistance all last week is now going to be acting as support if we come down here. If we do a range pull and we look at this range that was kind of forming here, yeah, point of control, let's even actually pull this just to here. I would say, yeah, this general area here is going to be the area we're going to want to be watching. Previous range value area high is just below this golden pocket. So I would say from like 134 to 130 is going to be the area we're going to be watching for a level of support. And then if we lose that, guys, it's just level to level. So the next level would be the value area low again, 123. You know, we would do that liquidity grab of the lows from a couple days ago into our anchored VWAP from the lows and into our value area low. So definitely need to mark that one out here. Let's see if we have any daily levels there. Nope. Naked daily at 125. Okay. Yeah, you know what? That naked daily at 125 just above is going to be... It's going to be an important level because you can see it was also a naked daily here. I mean, we did just bust through it on this time, pushing up. But let's mark out our new naked daily as well. Okay, so look at this, guys. Yesterday's naked daily point of control is in our box of support. So our first box of support that we just marked out just today. So more confluence to bounce from this general area. 145 area. 144.8 here. So that's a naked daily point of control. Oops, I just marked the wrong one. Okay, there we go. All right, and I would say that is it for Solana. Now, 161.8 is the next key level. If we break that, really, we're going to come up to like $200 area. $190 to $200 area. We are above the point of control of our major year-long range, so as long as we're above that point of control, we can expect price action to flip it to support to continue to push up to higher levels. Now, we do need to worry about this double liquidity, these dual highs, semi-equal dual highs here around 180 bucks, because that is going to be a key liquidity grab where we could see a bigger pullback from that area. So I want you to be aware of that. It's not like we could see if we break 161.8, that's the only area in between where I see we could get a pullback from is 180. And then as far as the bigger supports to the downside, I still like this pitchfork midline in confluence with the golden pocket from these lows to this high. And then, of course, we have a weekly, a daily, a naked weekly point of control, and a naked daily point of control at that $106 area. Okay, that's it for Solana. Now let's go to XRP. XRP did see that liquidity grab. Let's zoom in on the chart, 15-minute chart. But it's been ranging pretty slowly as well all day long. You can see it's forming a bit more of a topping pattern, which is a bit concerning, you know, like left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Maybe if this breaks down, we come down a bit here. Let's go ahead and pull this range. Yeah, I would say we're just trading the range. So I would be watching, looking for longs near the bottom of the range if you do have confirmation. Right now, we do not have confirmation. But if we take out these range lows down here and form a bull div, it could be nice. If this curves up here, could be nice. We'd want to be seeing money flow at least bottoming out there. Let's look at the hourly chart. Okay, yeah, money flow is coming back up. You are not seeing any bull divs here on on Market Cipher B, but you are seeing hidden bull divs on NAMI here. So this is where NAMI can come in really handy. Hidden bull divs here showing higher lows in the price action, lower lows in the momentum waves, hidden bull divs. Money flow looks like it's bottoming out here on NAMI. Very nice signal to look for continuation to the upside. Now for hidden bull divs, I do like to look at higher time frames for hidden bull divs. What's better than nothing though is lower time frame hidden bull divs. Let me go ahead and get rid of this SFP. And I would say the next level of resistance above us is just that golden pocket daily level around 235 to 237. But the big resistance above is still the same as yesterday, guys. That's this box here between 241 and 245. We have a lot, you can see all here, weekly, naked weekly point of control, large range point of control, and the anchored VWAP from the all-time highs. Now, to the downside, I do think that these boxes of support that were already marked out are still relevant. So we do have the local golden pocket in this area, very local from this low to this high. We have our channel midline, which is not really in confluence, but the value area low of our big range since December. This big range since December is in that area. And even our smaller range value area lows in that area. Okay, let's zoom out onto the daily. On the daily chart. Okay. So it looks like we just confirmed a new daily resistance on XRP. We can mark that out. 221.74. And I would say other than that, there's not too much else new. Let's turn naked daily point of control. Okay, we do have a naked daily point of control from yesterday and one just above us too that just confirmed 30 minutes ago. $215. Around $215, we have a new naked daily point of control. Let me check this here. Okay, so I would actually say now our box of support that we have below us, I believe that was our golden pocket from the lows to the highs. Yeah, okay. I'm going to move this box a little bit. So I'm going to bring it up to the naked daily point of control and down to the golden pocket. So this box here is going to be naked daily POC, large POC, and a golden pocket. This box of support is between 215 and 212, really. 212.77, so really closer to 213. But this box is the first box of support. If we're going to lose our small range, I would expect to move at least down to this area. But then if that doesn't hold, we're probably going to expect to move back down towards the value area low of the range again. And then, of course, we do have our smaller boxes, or our lower boxes below us. And this box might actually be a nice confluence with the channel midline by then. Yeah, I would say this value area high coming in at 261 is important because you can see we have that liquidity grab into the value area high. It's going to be near the top of our descending channel. And we also had our smaller range value area high up in that area. Let me just check one more thing out. Yeah, that's a 50% drop to the downside. So what we need to do with a 50% drop is we need to put that golden pocket on log scale. To the downside, if it's more than like a 30% drop, you do want to use fib log retracements. So yeah, 262 really is the area. You can see that our macro golden pocket is coming in, our macro golden pocket from the all-time highs down to our lows is coming in right around that value area high at 262. And then the descending channel could be right around that area depending on how long it takes. I would definitely say that's a strong level. Okay, that is it for XRP. Actually, let's cover real quick. Let's cover the market cipher NAMI. So on the daily, money flow curving to the upside. Your momentum wave is starting to get a little bit exhausted here. And even on NAMI, the money flow or the momentum wave starting to curve to the downside on the daily as well as money flow. But it's still looking pretty strong and it's still holding up. Let's look at our 4-hour chart. 4-hour money flow is kind of flat here. It's been coming out a little bit though in this range, so XRP could see a bigger pullback. Now on NAMI, we're getting a little bit of a contradictory signal. Money flows coming to the upside, and we are seeing that momentum wave kind of bottom out here. No bull divs or bear divs though. Let's go to the hourly chart. Yeah, I do think that on the hourly chart, at least we could if we pull back down a little bit, I think this first box of support could hold us because we are seeing those local hidden bull divs. Money flows curving up on market cipher B again. Your momentum wave is kind of looking a little bit bottomy here. And your money flow on NAMI is also starting to curve to the upside. But that 15-minute was showing us that we were going to get that cool off. You know, all these higher highs in here, all these lower highs in here, money flow coming down. That really was kind of the signal that we might expect a bit of a cool off or at least a range to form. So here's the crazy thing, guys. With even Bitcoin, all these coins, Solana, Ethereum, we saw massive pumps yesterday. And instead of retracing, we're starting to see flat corrections instead of massive retraces, showing that overall the market is still remaining pretty bullish on these assets to go higher. Looking pretty good, in my opinion. Okay, Link. Link is just back testing what used to be support now is resistance. You can see that value area high coming in here. Let's actually clean this chart up just a bit here. Let me go ahead and get rid of this. Now that was our local support that we showed yesterday as well. That 786 area. Not support, resistance, I'm sorry. But I'm going to get rid of this box now. Let's delete that, and we can actually even delete this guy here. I'm going to delete some of these guys off my chart. But look at this volume profile. So as far as volume profiles go, we were looking for that point of control. Now the point of control was down here. Let me show you guys that. Point of control was being flipped to support, and we continued to work our way up to the value area high. We broke above the value area high yesterday. Today, we came back down to bullishly backtest that value area high to see if it was going to flip to support. Well, it is flipping to support, and we're continuing this move to the upside. Now, I would be careful here because on link here, you can see right above us, we do have a box of resistance. We have that naked weekly point of control, a naked daily point of control, and a daily level, and a golden pocket. Let's actually see if that golden pocket has been tapped yet. Here, and let's make sure it's just a regular golden pocket. Okay, maybe it was the bigger one. Okay, yeah, that golden pocket there, but kind of don't like that one. Yeah, I would say actually let's get rid of that golden pocket. It is just some volume levels, but still, guys, naked weekly and in confluence with our previous range value area high is still going to be a strong resistance area. So you can see our previous range value area high is in confluence with that daily level, with that naked weekly point of control and that naked daily point of control. So just above us, what we're seeing here on link, let's zoom back in onto the hourly chart. We are seeing some signs of bear divs forming if we take out the high from yesterday. So if we come out and we take out this high, SFP, the high of 1530, into our naked weekly point of control around 15.4 or 15.6, then what we would be seeing is higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the momentum waves, with that hit into resistance. That would look for, you could look for a pullback from there. But overall, it's looking strong. It bullishly backtested your value area high. It bounced, showing it wants to continue higher overall. And if we break this 15.6 level, really, we can look up to $17, 17 to 17.2. Let's zoom back on onto the daily real quick, and let's mark out that daily, those dailies that we need to mark out. We have a new daily at $13, and that is probably going to be close to our golden pocket of the last big push up. Yep, right on top of it. So that's going to be our new level of support. And let's take this range and look at just from the push up. Okay, so I would say a level of support to the downside here is going to be this daily in confluence with the golden pocket. Let's also look at this push up was so straight up in here that we really don't have too much. We probably have an order block right where this red candle is on lower time frames. But let's look at our naked daily points of controls. Come on now. All right. $13.86 is a naked daily point of control. Let's look at our macro Fibonacci pull from the lows to our current highs, and let's look at our 382. Okay, 382 is also in that area. of that box. So I'm going to extend this box that I just made, this support box that I just made, up just a bit here. And we can see that's also our previous highs. So you can see previous highs. It's your macro 382, which often acts as support in a strong trend. And we have our lower golden pocket and our lower daily. Shoot, I shouldn't have deleted that because we want to check that golden pocket. Okay, yeah, and then the next big area of support, I would say, is that golden pocket. The macro golden pocket. Let's check this out. Yeah, this golden pocket at about 12 to 11.92. You can see a swing failure pattern, liquidity grab into that area. I would say that is the area, 11.9. Anytime you see a liquidity grab into a golden pocket, that could be a great trade. And this guy still down below us is still good because it's a naked weekly point of control in confluence with the weekly. There's the value area low down there. I'm not sure it's still down there, but yeah. And then we can get rid of this guy now. That guy really held. Okay, so yes, now to the upside, if we break this 15.6 area, we do have a naked weekly point of control in confluence with the daily and an 886 at 17 to 17.2. If we break that, we do have the liquidity grab into our daily. It's also the value area low back test of our big range that we lost and a naked weekly point of control, 17.7 to 17.95. Up higher, we'll talk about this once we get up there. Chainlink is looking pretty good. Let me check one thing here. If this is an ABC correction, if this is an A, B, C. Okay. Yeah, we do need to be aware of that 15.6 area acting as resistance, because that's also our one-to-one target if this is going to be a bigger, you know, ABC correction before rolling back over and starting to form that bigger accumulation range that we expect a lot of these coins to start forming. That's the area where we can watch for rejection just above us. Okay, now one last coin that I'm going to cover today is Super. Okay, Super here is looking pretty good. I marked out all these weak levels. So our box of support held. This, we covered. One of the regular members that follows my live streams and my channel and my updates, he asked about this, and you know who you are. That did hold well. So that trade did work out pretty good. We are breaking above. You can see I actually had an alert set at these highs because these highs were kind of key highs. The SFP around our point of control of our major range. Well, we got the push through it. Not only the push through it, but we back tested it, and it looks like it's holding so far. And we're not seeing an SFP, but we're seeing continuation. But here's the thing. Look at this. We are in that crucial wave 5 target zone. So if this is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulse finishing, do we now see a 3-wave correction down? Now, I'm not saying it's going to go that low, but this is something we need to watch for. I would like to come a little bit higher, though, to grab the liquidity here into the 1.618, around 70 cents to 72 cents. That would really be a great ending of this wave 5. Then we could see a bigger ABC correction to the downside. Start to form a bit of a range in here. Give us a chance to accumulate a bit and then see the pump. So as far as targets to the downside, let's do this. Okay, golden pockets coming in a little bit lower. Let me make sure that weekly is still fresh. Okay, we can get rid of this now. We will have a new weekly support, but I'm not going to mark it out yet because it's only Wednesday. Okay, and as far as daily levels go, let's mark out this guy here. Ooh, we did reject from a daily. I missed that. I didn't have it marked out, or maybe it's just hidden on the chart. But yeah, that daily at 66 cents is kind of where we're rejecting. We're in a rejection zone, I should say that, or a pullback zone. So we do need to be aware of that. Okay, the next level, let's zoom in on the 4-hour chart, and let's just look at some more local price action here. Let's pull our Fibonacci from last week's lows to the highs. Yeah, okay, that weekly coming in around 57 cents. Well, we broke through it. There was no reaction there. So we could still leave it on the chart because we haven't back tested it yet. But this weekly is not naked anymore. Let's just say that. Let's actually delete it for now. And I would like to look at a couple things. So this is our big range that goes back let's see here. Can't remember on that one. It goes back to December of 2023. You can see we're breaking above the point of control after it rejected us many times, and we bounced from the value area low of it many times. So if we can flip this point of control to support, we can continue up, at least up, I would say, to 86K or $86 cents. But we could look for a small pullback from this fifth wave ending of this impulse and then see a push up to 86 cents. You'd want to see a higher low come in on the charts. And let's pull one more range. Let's zoom out to the 3-hour chart, and let's just pull this bottom range that we're seeing here. So from these lows, sideways, okay. Yeah, I would say around this golden pocket, it's closer to the 786 actually. But I would say the 786 value area low is at 54 cents is going to be your first major support level. Value area high, bullish backtest. Sorry, did I say value area low? Okay, and if that breaks, but first and foremost, point of control just below us. So if you're looking at scalping this, which I don't recommend scalping alts, but if you are, your point of control is just below these lows around 62 cents. You could be looking to take those range lows into the point of control and a bullish backtest. Now, I do see a nice little descending channel that's forming here. This actually looks really nice for if you're going to continue to grind down to that point of control. One more low, taking out these little range lows into the point of control. You would want to see some bull divs coming in on the chart locally between those two lows. So lower lows, and then you'd want to see higher lows here. That could give you a signal if you SFP these lows into the point of control bounce, then a move up to at least that 70 cent region, which is our next area of resistance in the continuation of the wave 5 overall. Hourly chart, money flow looks pretty good here. Momentum wave bottomed out, no bear divs. Let's go to the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, no bear divs, but we are, and money flow looks pretty decent here. We are starting to curve down a bit. Even NAMI, money flow looks good here, no bear divs. So I would say Super does look like it does at least want to continue up to this 1.618, around 70 cents. Let's go to the daily. Yeah, I mean, money flow just crossing into the green. we are seeing our momentum wave a bit topped out here. So if we make it up to 70 cents, we could see that impulse end and see a bigger multi-day correction down to even 54 cents. We'll have to repull our fibs then. But that's what I would say right now for super. As far as very, very low time frame stuff, just be careful with this. I mean, you can look at this descending channel that we're trading in. If you see a breakout of this descending channel, there's a very high likelihood we're coming up to 70 cents. But I would be honestly watching for, and this could even be seen as a bull flag, but I would be watching for, and let's look at the volume on that. Spikes up. I mean, it does look pretty nice. Increasing during the flag formation, volume decreasing during the actual, increasing during the pole formation, decreasing during the flag formation. We do have volume confirmation for it to be a semi-valid pattern. And what I would be looking for is that one more push down into that golden pocket around 62 cents, 61 cents into the bottom of the channel. And then you could look for a long up to 70. Okay. That is about it for today, guys. Let's check Bitcoin just real briefly here. Yeah, it's doing nothing, ranging. But, guys, I do have a couple new partners of the channel. BYDFI is a new exchange that I've partnered with. Really great exchange. Great UI, user interface they have. They are offering my subscribers, it is an affiliate link, so we both get a kickback from this, but you will get 17% off your trading fees. You get 15% cash back on your first deposit, up to $1,000 of bonuses. So if you deposit like $8,100, you can get $1,000 back, and then you can earn more based on how much you trade. There is no KYC, no VPN included. You don't need a KYC or VPN to trade there. And my second partner is MEXC. Both the links are in the descriptions. MEXC is also offering a deposit bonus, and you can get up to $20,000 in future bonuses depending on how much volume you move. So thank you all for supporting. If you got anything out of this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.